Okay, I'm gonna note this to myself. Currently, I am meta watching this section of my video. It's pretty much done. I could put the cop research that I do into this, but then that's long. Then I'm like, that was for the last video. So, I don't know. But this is what everything I did on this day. But notably, I think, personally for me, like how I treat like character AI that I use like loosely, just for the sense because we're in that day and age. But there's whole videos about it. You can watch them that I made. But the essence of like making a YouTube video is that similar vein. Like I'm trying to rewire my mind to be like, oh, if you get a view, if you get a subscriber, that's great. And sometimes, in some capacity, I'm like, wow, it's great. Like you don't have to have immediate gratification or immediate like dopamine. Like when you put a post and you're like, yeah, I'm trying to negate that. And here's a showcase of it. So on the side over here, I'm gonna pause. This is the future. This is it's 9:26, 11:10. I know. But currently I'm editing this video, as you can see. This is how I just do it. And this one's the 29th day. And this is the graph right now. So it was 6. Probably like the 6 is, or 8 is me, just looking at it. And then I don't look at it. And then it goes up. And it's like, whoop. And then it's like, whoa. Even though this means nothing. I like to look at the impression look is what I like to look at. And then I look at the impression click rate. The less info you have on here, the higher the initial click rate seems to be. And yeah, it's performing better. And also, I got a subscriber from it, which that's great. Thank you for enjoying my marketing. And when it comes to labeling thumbnails to my thing, I like to think of it as like the double-edged sword of stuff. So for example, why I put marketing is that like, wow, look at these foods. These are like ad related like foods. Like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like I went to the superstore market. Like that type of like double entendre. And then in this video, I talk about what I did today was I went to portfolio class and the marketing team at DigiPen were talking about how to market yourself. So I'm like, okay, that's also that. So I like to just think of that. That's how I go about a thumbnail. Like a poppy word. I'm like, what is a poppy word that someone can be like when they see it and not just look at the I spent number one days and month, year, day, whatever. They also have some context as well, secondary context of how things go about. So I'm gonna now do my thing. Okay, so where's my marker? My marker. Okay. I would label today, this is the 29th, to be called Lumen. Lumen. Also, I gotta note, when you, after this part of the video, what you see is actually real, right? All I do in the editing aspect is I lower these parameters. Just because a lot of my videos are like blown out, like very white, and it's not like the actual natural color of what things are sometimes. So those are the only two things I adjust. Just note that. That is all. You can't see me, but you can kind of see me. Okay. What would I rank today? I would rank today probably a B. It feels like a B tier. You know, you raise up to an A, but then you're like, is this still an A? I would probably say it's a B. Yeah. Well, I say a B as in a vibe, right? I think the vibe of today has been like a B. I think today is a certified A. See, this is where you're like, okay, maybe it was like a really great day. Like, I had all my homework on time. I asked my teachers, like, hey, is this specifically what this is? I don't know. Like, yeah, it feels like an A day. No, it doesn't feel like an A day. It's on paper, it's an A day. The vibe afterwards feels like a B. So I will say it's like a high B plus, but it's not an A. And then you're like, wow. So that's how he ranks and stuff. I know. What did I do? Well, I went to lighting class and we learned about lumen. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm just not good at the tests or when she does the question things. I literally, in a perfect world, you know, sure, you don't know what the questions are, right? And you have to look them up. But then we have to categorize if it's like a static or dynamic or both. And it's not a trick question on my behalf, but it's just, when I got the question, when I was picked, this was from, I forgot his name will be here. When he picked me to do the next one, which was lumen, and then, this is more ignorance on me, I guess, or maybe, I don't know, and then I said both, because it's a vibe, and I think I've like, you know, it's like familiarized with it, like just, oh yeah, lumen's, yeah, it's just both. And then the teacher's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe, like, I just don't know. I was throwing stuff out. I was like, maybe I'm mistaken movable, maybe I'm getting, maybe it's because it's, doesn't need to be baked or something. But then afterwards, it's like, okay, it's like this and this and this. And it's like, okay guys, today we're gonna learn about lumen. And I'm like, no, I didn't know what lumen is, because I, you know, we forgot that. But that's a weird, at first glance, framework, that what it feels like when it comes to learning in that lighting class sometimes. Or, I feel like I should make, mentally, I want to make like note cards, and I just do them on the daily, or do them on Tuesday, so that Wednesday I'm prepared. Like for Wednesday, I review what transpired on the slides on Tuesday. Wednesday, I review it, then prep for the lighting class. What I've been doing was I have pretty much just went to lighting class, and then before, like for a few hours, like 2 hours before, after I finished my assignment of whatever lighting thing it is, I would just rewatch the recording and then sift through what seems like reasonable in the recording that she's probably gonna ask us a question, and then I can't retain that. Notably, I think you can't retain something unless you repeat it over and over and over again. And that's obvious, right? That's obvious. But I think you have to vocally repeat it over and over and over again. Even within the hour. I think an hour doesn't take long. I think an hour you're gonna just remember one thing. And then you're like, oh, okay. That's great. Otherwise, I've been watching like Sneeko videos. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, wow. It's like, I miss the old Kanye. I miss the old, like, old Sneeko and whatnot. And then I was just like watching like Zohran Mamdani. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, I'm not even a New Yorker. Why am I watching this? It's like Cuomo. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just watching it because I think it's a weird recommendation thing on my YouTube. And sometimes I think when you have those certain things, this is a lesson for today, but if you have those certain things where you have the cross between reality and then putting it out there on the internet, it's sort of like to be like a megaphone, to be like, here's this thing, and then for me it is the streets, New York, asking New Yorkers about Zoran Mahandami, and then I'm just like, wow, should I be scared of my future? I'm like, it's about a New Yorker. I just focus on my art, bro. You got this. Just make a portfolio, do that, and you're good to go. And then focus about how you want to allocate that over after graduation or something. But you got this. You got this. I think it's about, for me, it's also that, but also the culture of a company, how they work, how they do their things for whatever is technically lighting, VFX. Then, yeah, location. If they want me there in person, remote, who knows? That's just me. See you in the next video that I record. Yay!
That they've been working on, and then do a demo, and then the next slide was like, this thing is going on sale tomorrow or next week or something like that, and that hype would carry right into the buying cycle. You remember that? That was sick. But now, in this age of all of these AI products, it's like there's this thing where you end up selling the dream before you sell the actual product. And that is dangerous. Like, the promise of AI is so huge and so massive and magnificent and awesome, but it's also so clearly not done yet that you end up with stuff like the Humane Pin, or even the Rabbit R1, for example, or heck, even Apple Intelligence, where you have these big promises, but the capabilities are still over here, while the promise is all the way over here. And I'm trying to figure out why they do that. And I think really there's two main reasons. And believe it or not, I think Tesla self-driving is a really perfect parallel example for a lot of this stuff. See, basically, in order for this robot to be everything people want it to be, they need to develop a super smart AI system that looks through the robot's sensors and is able to learn its environment and recognize everything it's looking at and teach itself to navigate that environment and perform tasks. It has to learn what a laundry room is and what the laundry looks like and how to fold each type of clothing, and it needs to learn what cups and forks and glasses are and how to pick them up, and it has to be adaptable to all these different sizes and shapes and materials and things of all these household objects, so that when a user asks for it to do something, just like, hey Neo, vacuum the living room when I'm gone, something like that, then Neo can go, okay, I know where the living room is, I know where the vacuum is, I know how to use the vacuum, where the handle's at, like how much battery life I have, how much I need to vacuum the whole living room, I know not to knock over lamps or certain objects in there, and even the laundry folding thing, like just that requires a ton of training data, or at least some way to understand all these different shapes of shirts and jackets and hoods and vests and all sorts of things, and hooks and hangers, and what gets folded, what gets dry cleaned, all these different things, and the list just goes on. And like, what if one of the tasks is going and getting